Well, it's been over 10 minutes. The stuff feels hard. I'm not leaving any fingernail marks in it. So let's take it apart and see what we got. Now I do know that the tail section, this is going to be bad. I do know that. I'm not even worried about that. And this in here won't be anywhere near as good as it's supposed to be. But I already know that also. But the rest of it, I'm hoping it will come out pretty good. Splitting apart at the back. Now I got the tail section. I have something in there for the seats, and I'm sure that's hanging us up right now. See if I can dig out around it. I want to reuse this, make several of them, so I don't want to bust it all up. Yeah, the top of the mold's being crushed. Now this still feels a little warm. A little too much pressure on that. That air bubble right here for some reason. Well, had I done a little bit better job of getting it out of the mold, I think it would have been okay. Although it's still okay, I can glue it together. This might actually make it easier for cleaning up purposes. I have to do quite a bit of cleaning up. I had to cut this whole back section off here. Now I did make a model using the Durarock here, which I didn't think was really going to work, but I gave it a shot anyway. I've already taken it out of the mold and I've already fooled around with it, and so I don't have a whole lot to show you. The sponsons came out fairly decent. But as I was pulling it out of the mold, the cross pieces that go from here to the shuttle broke really easily. And then I was working on the model, and I had this all together, and I was sanding and working on it and cutting out the back section, and I noticed it was still wet inside. So I left it for another day or so, and then just now I was out here sanding on it. It sands pretty decent. And then I broke off the little section on the back that I had, which is really this tail section right here. It snapped off. And then I just, for the heck of it, I went to see how easy it was to break, and I just went like that, and it broke really easy. I'm going to break the sponson right now, just so you can kind of have an idea. Like that. It took literally no effort at all. So to use this material for the mold would not be a good idea. Now, part of the problem is I believe it has a lot of air in it. You can tell by looking at the mold and stuff. That maybe if I would have used a vacuum pump on the mix before I poured it in, it would have sucked out a lot of the bubbles, and maybe used a pressure pot afterwards, which I don't know how to use much of that stuff. I haven't done it yet. But I believe it would have made it more compressed, and maybe it wouldn't have broken so easily. But I'm going to give up on this one because obviously that's no good. Now I did. My first mold was out of the casting fiberglass that they sell, the plastic, and it worked out fairly decent. But I probably pulled it a little too soon out of the mold, and I broke it as I was pulling it out. But that's okay. I can glue these back together. I haven't cleaned much of this one yet. All I did was basically cut off the big chunk at the end, and I did try to cut this out a little bit. I cut it a little too much. I did get some more of the 2-part silicone that I just got in today, and so I will call it liquid rubber. I will be making a second part of the mold. I'm going to reuse the first part that I have here that I think has turned out okay. It could be better, but it's good enough. And I ran out of the stuff making the second one, like I'd already showed you, and I tried to make the rest of it with some regular silicone and a cornstarch mix, which really didn't work out so well. And I picked up some modeling clay that I'm going to use to fill in those voids. Which color? I think I'm going to go with red. Just cramming it all in. Pushing it down kind of hard, and then I'm just using the popsicle stick to just kind of shave off the part I'm not going to leave. And then of course I'm pushing some up on the top. There you go. It's pretty much filled in. I'll play with a little bit more to get a little smoother, but that's what I'm going to go with. Now that I got all the red clay in the back here, the top and the bottom, I also decided this little area here is kind of a pain too. And for cosmetics it doesn't really matter, so I'm going to go ahead and square that up too with some more clay. Put it on, kind of force it in there. Kind of rub it smooth. Now, so gotta be careful not to pull it back out. This probably should be going backwards on it. I did some modifications to the box so that I can pour a second section. I'm going to pour it about this high. I'm going to cover the back end and this wing on the top. I'm going to try to get that all in one pour. The back end, I'm going to have it right to the edge of this and right to the edge of that, and a little piece right here that's going to be able to fit in for the next part.